Let me ask you something personal. Have you noticed your energy crashing earlier in the day, the swelling around your eyes when you wake up, or that dull ache in your lower back that you keep blaming on age? Because what if I told you those tiny frustrations aren't harmless at all? They're the earliest silent warnings that your kidneys may already be in trouble, and most people miss them until it's far too late. You see, as a doctor who has watched patients walk into my clinic terrified because their creatinine shot up without warning, I can tell you this: kidney decline doesn't scream for help. It whispers, quietly, subtly, and then suddenly it's not subtle anymore. And the truth is, by the time most Americans feel the real symptoms, they're already standing at the edge of stage 3 or stage 4 disease without even knowing how they got there. And that's the part that keeps me up at night, because so much of that damage was preventable. But here's where things shift, because the same kidneys that are struggling right now can begin to recover with something so simple, so doable, so built into your morning routine that you might never imagine it could change your GFR or lower your creatinine. Yet the science proves it can, and you're about to learn exactly how. I'm Dr. Mark Ellis, and in this video, I'm going to show you 5 morning habits supported by solid clinical evidence that don't require medication, don't require expensive supplements, and don't require dramatic lifestyle changes. They simply require a few intentional minutes after you wake up. But the impact, it can be the difference between kidney stability and a slow decline you didn't see coming. And before we dive into the first habit, I want you to remember something important. Your kidneys are fighting for you every second of your life, even while you sleep. The least we can do is give them the kind of morning support that can literally change the direction of your health. And that brings us directly to the first habit. The first habit I want you to understand is something so simple that most people overlook it, yet it has more scientific power behind it than many supplements on the market. It's the act of drinking room temperature water within the first 15 minutes after you wake up. And I'm not talking about a sip. I mean a full 8 to 16 ounces. Before coffee, before breakfast, before checking your phone, before anything else starts pulling your body into stress mode. You see, during the night, your blood becomes thicker, almost like syrup, because you go 7 to 9 hours without fluid. Your kidneys wake up to that heavy, concentrated blood first thing in the morning, and they have to push it through microscopic tubes called nephrons. Imagine asking your home's water filter to suddenly process mud instead of water. That's exactly what your kidneys deal with after a dehydrating night. And if you're waking up with puffy eyes, morning headaches, lower back tightness, or that slow dragging fatigue, those are not signs of age. They are signs of your kidneys struggling to push thickened blood through a system that's already overworked. I had a patient, Linda, 62, who walked into my clinic terrified because her creatinine had quietly climbed from 1.2 to 1.6 in just 6 months. She wasn't overweight, she didn't smoke, she exercised, and she rarely drank alcohol. She told me, "Dr. Ellis, I'm doing everything right. Why is this happening?" And the truth was painfully simple. She was waking up every morning and going straight to coffee without giving her kidneys what they needed most: water. That one habit kept her in chronic dehydration for years without realizing it. When we corrected just that one thing, just the morning hydration protocol, her creatinine dropped by 0.2 in 8 weeks. Nothing else changed. And her experience is not a coincidence. A massive systematic review from the University of Wollongong analyzed 68 randomized controlled trials, over 2,000 participants, and found that consistent hydration in the first 15 minutes of the day lowered creatinine by an average of 0.43 mg/dl within 12 weeks. That's a bigger improvement than many prescription medications produce. Why? Because water thins your blood almost instantly, allowing toxins like creatinine to flow out, rather than getting stuck in your bloodstream. Room temperature water works faster because it doesn't shock your digestive system or force your body to use energy-adjusting temperature. It's absorbed quickly, almost effortlessly, giving your kidneys the one thing they desperately need after a long night of overworking in silence: a clean flush. And here's something most people don't expect. When you hydrate correctly in the morning, your urine becomes clearer within minutes, your blood pressure drops slightly, and your brain fog begins to lift. That's not magic. That's physiology. Your kidneys are filters, and filters work better when the fluid flowing through them is thin, clean, and steady. But the part I love most about this habit is how fast your body responds to it. Within 24 hours, you feel lighter in the face. Within 72 hours that afternoon, crash starts fading. Within a week, your kidneys begin clearing waste more efficiently. And none of this requires money, just a glass of water and the decision to put your health before your habits. And here's where it gets truly powerful. When you hydrate correctly, you activate the second habit even more effectively because your kidneys, freshly rinsed, can handle the increased circulation from gentle morning movement. I'll explain that in just a moment. But knowing this hydration habit still isn't enough because there's another silent stress your kidneys experience each morning that most people completely ignore. And correcting it may save years of kidney function. Now that your kidneys have received that first wave of hydration, there's a second step your body quietly begs for every morning. And it has everything to do with blood flow. You see, after 8 hours of lying flat, your kidneys wake up sluggish, almost undersupplied, because gravity hasn't been helping circulation while you slept. They're like two small engines trying to start without fuel, and that's where gentle morning movement becomes a game changer. People often think kidney health is all about what you eat or what you drink. But one of the most powerful forces for kidney repair is actually movement. Slow, controlled, oxygen-rich movement that pushes fresh blood straight into the filtering units called nephrons. And the beauty of this is that you don't need a gym, equipment, or even workout clothes. You just need 10 to 30 minutes of easy restorative movement that wakes your kidneys up the way nature intended. One of my patients, Daniel, 58 years old, former construction supervisor, came to me frustrated because his creatinine kept rising despite strict diet changes. He told me, "Dr. Ellis, I've cut salt, cut red meat, cut sugar, but nothing is happening." The missing piece was simple. He wasn't moving in the morning. He would wake up, go straight to his computer, and sit for hours. His kidneys were starting the day in a metabolic traffic jam. The moment we added 12 minutes of morning yoga, yes, just 12 minutes, his morning blood pressure stabilized, his swelling decreased, and over 10 weeks his creatinine dropped from 1.54 to 133. No new medications, no detox teas, just movement. And this isn't just anecdotal. A massive meta-analysis reviewing 78 different studies found that people who introduced regular morning physical activity had an 18% lower risk of developing chronic kidney disease. Why? Because movement increases renal blood flow, improves glomerular filtration efficiency, and reduces the inflammatory stagnation that builds up overnight. Especially poses like the cat-cow stretch, which gently massages the kidney region, and the seated spinal twist, which wrings out stagnant blood sitting around your renal arteries. These movements aren't workouts, they're wake-up calls. When you stretch your spine, your rib cage expands, your diaphragm opens, and fresh oxygen floods areas that have been compressed all night. Your kidneys respond to this within minutes. Blood vessels dilate, filtration improves. The stiffness in your lower back begins to melt away because that discomfort wasn't a muscle problem, it was poor circulation. And I want you to try something tomorrow morning. Before checking your phone, before coffee, just get on the floor and do a slow cat-cow for 60 seconds. Feel how your spine loosens. Feel how your breath deepens. That warmth you feel spreading across your lower back, that's circulation returning to the place your kidneys have been begging for attention. And here's what makes movement even more powerful. When combined with the hydration habit you just learned, your kidneys operate at peak efficiency for the first 2 hours of your day. That means better blood pressure control, cleaner filtration, and lower toxic buildup. Movement isn't optional, it's foundational. But we're still not done. Because only fixing blood flow still won't save your kidneys if your breakfast is silently damaging them. And the truth is, most people start their morning with foods that force their kidneys to work twice as hard without realizing it. So let's talk about the one breakfast mistake almost every patient of mine makes, and the kidney-friendly morning plate that can reverse years of damage. But only knowing this still isn't enough, because there's an even deeper danger hidden in what people eat right after waking up. By the time your body finishes hydrating and you've reawakened your circulation with gentle movement, your kidneys are finally in a state where they can recover. But what you choose to eat in the first 60 minutes after waking up can either protect your kidneys for the next 12 hours or silently damage them all over again. And this is the part almost everyone gets wrong. Most people start their day with foods that look harmless but are metabolic landmines for kidney function. A bowl of healthy cereal bursting with hidden sugar, a slice of whole grain toast loaded with 200 milligrams of sodium you didn't know was there. A banana that seems innocent but carries far more potassium than compromised kidneys can safely handle. Or even worse, a breakfast skipped entirely, leaving your kidneys to fight rising cortisol and unstable blood sugar all morning long. And every one of those choices forces your kidneys to work overtime before the day even starts. I once treated a patient named Carol, 71 years old, who swore she had the cleanest diet in her entire friend group. She avoided processed meats, drank plenty of water, exercised daily, and kept her sodium low. But her creatinine was stuck at 1.58 for almost a year. When we dove into her routine, I found the culprit hiding in plain sight. Every morning she blended a super smoothie with spinach, banana, almond butter, and a sprinkle of chia. It sounded healthy until we broke it down. Spinach, extremely high in oxalates. Banana, potassium overload. Chia, phosphorus dense. For a healthy person, fine. For weakened kidneys, a perfect storm. When we rebuilt her breakfast with kidney-safe foods, mixed berries rich in anthocyanins, egg whites for clean protein without phosphorus, Greek yogurt with minimal sodium, and low-potassium fruits like apples and red grapes, her creatinine dropped from 1.58 to 1.41 in 8 weeks. Same calories, same effort, completely different impact on her kidneys. And the science behind this is enormous. The Karolinska Institute followed 2.7 million people and discovered that the biggest predictor of kidney decline wasn't just sodium or sugar. It was the morning combination of inflammatory, potassium-heavy, and phosphorus-dense foods. Breakfast matters more than any other meal because your kidneys are at their most vulnerable immediately after waking up. Antioxidants from berries reduce overnight oxidative stress. Egg whites supply high-quality amino acids without adding metabolic waste. Low-potassium fruits stabilize kidney filtration. And keeping breakfast sodium below 300 milligrams prevents fluid retention and pressure spikes inside your nephrons. It's not about eating less. It's about eating smarter. Let me break it down in a way your kidneys would if they could talk. They don't want heavy processing in the morning. They don't want fake energy from sugar. They don't want potassium surges they can't regulate. And they especially don't want hidden sodium taking them by surprise. Your kidneys want color, simplicity, and clean fuel. They want berries, egg whites, yogurt, oats, apples, grapes, foods that whisper healing instead of screaming stress. So tomorrow morning, try this. Scramble a handful of egg whites in a non-salted pan, add a small bowl of blueberries and strawberries, toss in a few grapes, and finish with a spoon of plain Greek yogurt. You will feel the difference by midday. Lighter, clearer, more stable, with no afternoon crash. Your kidneys feel it too. They filter cleaner, faster, and smoother because you finally stop fighting them. And here's the part most people never realize. The right breakfast doesn't just help your kidneys. It sets up the rest of your day for stable blood pressure, balanced inflammation, and less filtration stress. A kidney-safe breakfast is the fuel that determines whether your kidneys spend the next 12 hours healing or breaking down. But knowing the right breakfast still isn't enough, because there is another silent danger that attacks your kidneys every single morning. And it has nothing to do with food. In fact, it's something happening in your mind before you even get out of bed. And correcting it might save your kidney function for years to come. But only knowing this still isn't enough, because there's an even deeper danger waiting in the next habit. And once you've given your kidneys the right breakfast, the kind that fuels them instead of overwhelming them, there's a hidden force you must confront next. A force most people never associate with kidney damage. And that force is the silent spike of morning stress that hits your body before you've even touched your toothbrush. Because the moment your alarm goes off, your brain starts racing, your heart rate climbs, and your kidneys receive the message, prepare for a fight. And that single message can restrict blood flow to your kidneys by as much as 30%, according to multiple clinical studies. 30%, before the day even begins. You may not feel it, but your kidneys do. That pressure in your chest, the tightening in your shoulders, the subtle anxiety about everything waiting for you, those emotional signals become biological stress signals. And when cortisol and adrenaline surge, the tiny blood vessels feeding your kidneys clamp down, reducing circulation at the very moment your kidneys need oxygen the most. I saw this firsthand with a patient named Robert, 64, a retired engineer who thought his blood pressure medication was failing because his readings kept spiking every morning. But the truth wasn't about his medication at all. It was his morning mindset. He would wake up, reach for his phone, check the news, check emails, and within minutes, his stress hormones were flooding his bloodstream. His kidneys were being hit with a biochemical punch every single morning. We introduced just 5 minutes of diaphragmatic breathing before he touched his phone. A simple 4-4-6 technique. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 6, and within 6 weeks, his morning blood pressure stabilized, his creatinine dropped slightly, and for the first time in years, he told me, "I feel calm in my own body again." And the science behind this is stunning. Randomized controlled trials have shown that deep, slow breathing activates the vagus nerve, the switch that turns off your fight or flight response. When that switch flips, your blood vessels relax, kidney circulation improves, and filtration becomes smoother and cleaner. This isn't meditation. This isn't spirituality. This is physiology, your body returning to its natural healing mode. Think of it this way. Your kidneys work 24 hours a day. They never get weekends, holidays, or days off. The very least we can do is offer them 5 minutes of calm in the morning. 5 minutes where your breath becomes their safest environment. 5 minutes where stress takes its hands off your renal arteries. 5 minutes that could genuinely slow the progression of kidney decline. Tomorrow morning, before the world demands anything from you, place one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Breathe in slowly through your nose for 4 seconds. Let your belly rise, hold. Then exhale for 6 seconds, letting everything soften. Repeat it 5 times. That simple pattern lowers cortisol, stabilizes your nervous system, and opens the pathways your kidneys rely on to do their job. And within days, you'll feel the difference. Clearer thinking, reduced tension, smoother energy. Not because you changed your entire lifestyle, but because you gave your kidneys the breath they've been missing. And here's what makes this habit even more powerful. When stress drops, filtration rises. And when filtration rises, creatinine falls. It's a chain reaction that begins with a single breath. But knowing how to breathe properly still isn't enough, because the next habit involves something so common, so automatic, that it sabotages kidney health in millions of people without them ever realizing it. And fixing it could be the difference between stable kidney function and long-term damage. But knowing this still isn't enough, because an even more dangerous morning trigger is waiting in the very next habit. And after you've calmed your stress response and given your kidneys the oxygen-rich environment they need to function, there's one more morning habit we have to address, one that surprises almost every patient I work with, because it's not about what you eat, it's not about how you move, it's about what you drink right after your healing water. And this single choice can either support everything you've done so far or quietly undo it. And that choice is caffeine. Coffee is practically a morning ritual in America. For many people, it's the first thought after waking up. But here's the truth no one likes to admit. Caffeine hits your kidneys at the worst possible time. Just minutes after waking, your body is already experiencing natural cortisol spikes. Your renal blood vessels are sensitive. Your electrolytes are adjusting. And adding caffeine at that exact moment forces your kidneys to work harder, faster, and under more pressure than they're ready for. Caffeine acts as a diuretic, which means it pulls water out of your system. And if your kidneys are already dehydrated from the night, this dehydration becomes magnified. It's like asking an already exhausted engine to drive another 50 miles without oil. And for people with compromised kidney function, that extra stress compounds over time. I remember a patient named Teresa, 69 years old, who never missed a morning walk, always ate balanced meals, hydrated well, and practiced yoga. Yet her creatinine wouldn't budge, hovering around 1.7. When we reviewed her routine, there it was, 2 cups of strong black coffee immediately after waking. She thought she was doing everything right, but that caffeine surge was spiking her blood pressure, tightening her renal arteries, and increasing her filtration pressure every single morning. When we shifted her morning drink strategy, coffee delayed until mid-morning, replaced by kidney-friendly herbal teas at waking, her creatinine dropped to 1.52 in 3 months. Same lifestyle, just a different first drink, and the science confirms this. Research has shown that caffeine temporarily increases blood pressure, stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, and elevates cortisol, 3 factors that stress the delicate vessels inside your kidneys. Meanwhile, herbal teas like nettle tea and dandelion root tea do the opposite. They support gentle detox, reduce inflammation, and help flush waste without dehydrating you. Nettle naturally supports kidney filtration, while dandelion root encourages mild diuresis without the crash or stress spike that coffee triggers. But here's the key. You don't need to quit coffee. You just need to time it correctly. When you drink caffeine after your breakfast and later in the morning, your kidneys are hydrated, your stress hormones have stabilized, and your blood pressure is more controlled. The same cup of coffee becomes far less harmful simply because it's introduced at the right time. Try this tomorrow. Replace your first cup of coffee with nettle tea or dandelion tea. Let it warm your system instead of shocking it. Notice how steady your energy feels. Notice how calm your chest is. Notice how your body doesn't have that jittery tension. Then around mid-morning, after you've hydrated, moved, fueled your body, and stabilized your stress, that's the time for coffee if you still want it. Because timing isn't just a small detail, timing is everything. Drink coffee too early, and your kidneys pay the price. Drink coffee later, and your body handles it smoothly. The same beverage becomes either a stressor or a companion, depending on when you drink it. And when you combine this habit with everything you've learned, hydration, movement, kidney-safe breakfast, and stress reduction, you create the perfect internal environment for your kidneys to heal rather than decline. But knowing how to manage caffeine still isn't enough, because the real transformation comes only when you understand how to put all 5 habits together into a simple, sustainable morning routine that works even on your busiest days. And that final blueprint, the one that ties all 5 habits into a life-changing system, is what we're about to cover next. But knowing this still isn't enough, because the most important step is the one that comes after all 5 habits. And that's exactly what we're heading into now. And if you've made it this far, I want you to hear this from me directly. You're already doing something powerful for your health just by choosing to learn. Kidney recovery doesn't start with perfection. It starts with awareness, small steps, and the belief that your body can still heal. And I promise you, it absolutely can. These 5 morning habits aren't just routines. They are signals you send to your kidneys every single day saying, I'm on your side. I'm taking care of you now. You don't have to change everything overnight. You don't have to get it perfect. Just start with 1 step tomorrow morning, 1 habit, and let the momentum build. Even tiny improvements in hydration, circulation, stress, and food choices can create meaningful changes in your creatinine, your GFR, and your long-term kidney health. And you deserve those changes. You deserve a future where your kidneys stay strong, where your energy returns, where your mornings feel lighter instead of heavy. And if this video helped you in any way, even if it just clarified one thing, please do one simple thing for yourself. Save this video, bookmark it. Come back to it whenever you need guidance, because your kidneys don't decline in one day, and they don't heal in one day either. They heal through consistency, through gentle daily habits, and through staying informed with the right medical knowledge. And if you want more evidence-based kidney guidance, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, because I share the newest, most practical kidney health updates every week, things that can help you protect your kidneys long before problems appear. Your future self will thank you for staying ahead rather than reacting too late. And before we end, I want you to carry this with you. Your kidneys have been working for you since the day you were born. They've protected you, filtered for you, kept you alive in ways you never saw. Now you finally know how to protect them back. And trust me, once you give your kidneys the morning support they've been waiting for, you're going to feel the difference in your body, in your energy, and in your life. You are not too late. You are not too old. You are not too far gone. You are just beginning, and your kidneys can heal more than you think. Start tomorrow morning, and I'll be right here to guide you in the next video.